go. Hi, my name is Thomas Johnson, and I'm the founder and CEO of GetUpNGetFit, Wellness and Fitness Coaching Concierge. I'm also a C-suite advisor and investor. And you're listening to How May I Serve You, where I'm constantly on the quest to surround myself with the best coaches while learning how to better serve our executive clientele by asking them, how may I serve you? Today's show is sponsored by GetUpNGetFit. And GetUpNGetFit will be providing students with textbooks and school supplies in Cambodia in honor of our guest today, as well as our philanthropic mission to impact at least 50,000 people per year. And today's guest is Sharon Richter. Sharon, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me today.
Awesome. So Sharon Richter, president and owner of FocalPoint Coaching, is a business performance and executive coach who combines her 30-plus years of experience in public accounting, Wall Street, and higher education to effectively help business owners and professionals make positive changes to improve and accelerate workplace performance. Woo, let's go, Sharon. So, Sharon, I want you to give us, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us the 2-minute version, okay? The origin story.
Well, you covered a lot of it. I mean, my background is that I'm constantly on the quest for getting better and better, for myself and for the people that I'm around. So I started out in public accounting as a CPA, and I thought I'd do it for a couple years, and then then it turned out to be 12.
Okay.
And I went to work with one of my large clients on Wall Street for another, what I thought was going to be a couple years, came to New York, and it turned out to be another 12,
24, there we go.
Then I made a transition out of Wall Street and into higher education and went to work at Columbia University up here in the city of New York. And that one was for 7. Okay, so I broke a little bit of the pattern there. But I think the common thread, with me is that I get very excited about improving process, about having efficient operations, and about helping people develop a strategy. And that's been the constant through all of my roles. And so a few years, I just sort of struck out on my own, set up my own coaching practice to help people with their business performance. So I do business performance coaching and executive coaching as part of my business, which is FocalPoint Coaching and Training.
Got it. So Sharon, how was the transition from Wall Street to higher education? Because that's a big difference right there. How was that transition?
Yeah, so it was. I would like to say that it was all pretty straightforward. I mean, one large organization to another, and in some ways, I was used to working in large, complicated organizations. What I wasn't prepared for is the politics of higher education. I thought that I was, at the height of that as in on Wall Street, but can you imagine that it was actually even more difficult in higher ed? Wow. So on the one hand, I came in as an outsider with a fresh perspective, and there were a lot of people that were sort of suspicious of that. But then I was also faced with a political climate that I was a little unprepared for, and took me a little while to get my bearings.
Okay. So, what got you into coaching? Why did you get into coaching in the first place, and who do you coach?
So, I left higher education, quite frankly, because I just was tired of knocking my head against the wall. I really had a lot to offer.
Okay.
To help, again, I come back to my passion for developing strategy and help people improve. And that's what I was doing a lot of at Columbia. But I really wanted to see it more directly impact the people and the businesses in my community. And so for that reason, to have, really the more immediate feedback and more direct impact by working with business owners and business professionals directly.
Okay.
And so that led me to want to work with business owners, on my own. And I could do that a variety of different ways. I could work for somebody else. I decided that I wanted the flexibility.
Yeah.
I wanted the flexibility of doing it on my own. So I set up my own coaching practice about 2.5 years ago. And I coach small and medium-sized businesses,
Okay.
the business owners or business professionals, to help them overcome obstacles and accelerate their success. And the issues that they have that I typically help them with, of course, it's strategy, market strategy, growth strategy, even exit strategy. Like, I'm done with this business. I just want to get out. How do I, how do I get out? Or it could be time issues. I haven't taken a vacation in a couple of years. I want a vacation. How do I do that? Or they've got issues with their team. A lot of people have issues with their team right now because everybody's working remotely.
Yeah.
They may have, of course, financial issues, and my CPA background helps with that. So time, team, money, strategy, those are really the buckets where I find that business owners and professionals have, not that they're not doing fine. Most of the people that I'm working with are fine, but top professionals don't want to be doing fine. They want to be doing, they don't want to just be okay. They want to be, boom,
Exactly. High
they
performance.
want to be high performers. And so I help them ramp it up.
That's awesome. And you mentioned something too. You mentioned that your CPA background, that's a unique value add because a lot of coaches don't have that CPA background,
Yeah.
So how do you merge your CPA background when it comes to adding value to your coaches, your clientele rather?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm a very different kind of coach for a variety of reasons. One is because I am, although I'm a coach, right? But I stay in my lane. I know what I'm good at, and there are things that I'm not good at, right? So I'm not a health coach or an exercise coach or a wellness coach or a life coach. I'm not any of those things. I know business, and that's what I stick to. And so I work with my clients to help them understand and get clarity on their vision, to develop a strategy to get there. Now and as I said, it's different things for different people.
Of course.
It's different things for different organizations. But this piece of being able to move, quite frankly, from the financial side and really understand, I was just on a call just right before this with a client who is dealing with cash flow issues and the bank and how that impacts her operations, right? So the money and the financial results in terms of her balance sheet and her profit and loss statement that she's going to show to banks for purposes of financing connects very closely with her daily operations and her client activities. And so I can see all sides of that because of my financial background. And a lot of people don't have that skill set.
No, they do not. This is why I brought that up, because I've interviewed a lot of coaches, and you're the first coach that has mentioned having the CPA background, the financial background, which is great because that's extremely important, especially for business owners, right? Startup, medium, and even businesses that are already booming. So that's a unique value add right there. So,
well, listen, there's a lot of business owners. There's a lot of business owners that actually don't have a business background.
That is true. That is true.
Right. I love working with them, right? Because they have passion on their product or their service, but they just don't really have the business background or the financial orientation. And so when I'm able to bring that business background and the financial orientation to the passion of the product or service, that's where the magic happens. And I love that.
That big boom.
That's right.
Okay. So Sharon, how would you describe your coaching style then? Do you have a unique style you would like to coin? Like what's your style?
Well, my coaching is highly customized.
Okay.
So, a lot of coaches will have standard packages that they operate under and certain ways that they like to do things. Mm-hmm. I'm highly customized because I really feel that no two clients or two businesses are the same. and I need to meet them where they are, right? And so I don't really have a canned approach to my coaching. Yes, I like to see them for, an hour every week on Tuesday mornings, or, but if it can't be every week because they're traveling and we decide that it's every other week, that's fine. Some people need more intense work as part of a workshop as opposed to more of a coaching session. Some people, different people need different coaching on different topics and in different orders, right? They may need work on their leadership skills, and then later we're working on the efficiency of their organization, as an example.
Okay.
So what I coach on, and the sequence really is customized depending on what the current need is and what the long-term goal is, and together we develop and customize a program, and then execute on that together. So I think that's different than a lot of coaches that and the way that they operate.
Yeah, I love the fact that you highlighted that everyone's not built the same. I have the same coaching philosophy, right, with my wellness concierge company. You meet your clients where they're at, and you work from there. And that's how it should be, right? You shouldn't have to force feed them any type of pre-made course, right? So I'm glad you have that approach, and that approach really helps to help boost people in general, not only with their business acumen, but also with their progress when it comes to their company. So keep that up, Sharon. I'm loving this right now. I'm loving your strategy. I'm loving your approach. Don't change. Don't change. So I have a question. If someone was looking for a coach, what traits would you advise to look for?
I think like most things, you have to find the right fit, and the right, I might not fit with everybody, right? You have to click with you really have to click with the coach that you want to work with. You have to be able to develop a good rapport, and not every coach is a good fit. And so if somebody was hiring a coach, they should talk to a couple and pick the one that they think not only they have the best relationship and rapport with, but has the the type of experience that they're looking for. Listen, people hire me because they get to know, like, and trust me, and they just like the way that the way that I work and the way that we connect. But that my style might not be for everybody, and that's fine. So I think you look for fit. You look for experience, and you also look for a fresh perspective.
Ooh. Okay.
So if you want a coach, I believe that you would want somebody that brings you a fresh perspective, not somebody that's worked in your industry or done what you've done, because then you're just going to get the same old. You want somebody that's going to offer you a different point of view. I know that, somebody that works in, that has a medical practice, right? I'm not a doctor, okay? You don't want to hire me to coach you on your, your surgical skills, right? You don't hire me for that. You hire me because I have a different perspective that I bring to the table. So not somebody that thinks the way that you do. Or has done what you have done in the past, and I think that's that's really the value that I bring.
Okay, that's great. So, are you currently working on any new projects right now? And if you are, would you like to share?
Yeah, sure. So exciting new So I'll just talk about the client that I was on the phone with just before we got in here. So. I have a client, and actually she's come to me in the past 6 months. It's actually someone that I've known for like 10 years.
Okay.
And she got in touch because she's at a point in her business that she's grown I would say it's in the healthcare consulting space. She's grown her practice, her business quite nicely.
Okay.
But she is ready to get out. She's tired of it. And she wants to get out. She wants to sell it. So she's really preparing. So we're working together. It's an interesting project because we're working together to prepare her business for sale. But at the same time, she has a new endeavor. and she's really excited about her new endeavor.
So
So
both at once.
So both at once. So
Wow.
it's a little bit of a twofer. So half the time, so sometimes we're talking about, the current business and what's going on with prospective buyers and what needs to change in her business for her to increase the valuation of her company. So she has maybe a year to 18-month horizon on wanting to sell her business, but she's had a couple people knock on the door already. And so she's getting in that mindset. So we're working on exit and preparing her business for sale. But at the same time, she has a new partner on a totally new endeavor, and I'm coaching her on making sure that they're really clear on their vision, their mission, their purpose, their target clients, their financial strategy, et cetera, et cetera. So it's interesting to be doing both with the same business, with the same person at the same time.
Yeah, it definitely sounds challenging, but right now, just by you sharing this with me, you seem excited. You seem like you're up for the challenge. You're excited, and this is what it's about. You're not mentioning anything negative about the challenge. You are accepting it. So I'm loving your energy.
And what was so cool about it too is that I said this is somebody that I've known for some time. I mean, I wouldn't say that we're close. I met her like 10 years ago. We had some business that we did together, and we've just sort of peripherally stayed in touch, with one another. But something I posted on LinkedIn just resonated with her in that moment, and she gave me a call and said, "I think I need you." And I think I need you. And I know her, right? I know her family. I know her business. And so it didn't really take very long for us to ramp up and get started. And as I said, it's a fun project.
That was a good fit right there. That's a good fit. Definitely. So I know you just provided us with an amazing story, but I want you to share one more success story, right? One more success story, if you don't mind.
One more success story. So, when I have conversations with business owners, when I first started my practice a couple of years ago, I thought that my coaching was going to mostly be financial oriented, meaning that isn't what everybody wants is to make more money, right? So isn't that what it always boils down to? Is more money, more profits, more sales? Isn't that really what it boiled? That was my mindset. So I connected with a physician's practice, and the owner, the doctor that was running his dermatology practice actually. And they said, well, gee, we think we could use your help. Can you come in and talk to us? And I went in. I went in with the mindset of, well, gee, they must want more business, right? Who doesn't want more business? How can we get in more patients, or how can we optimize our practice, or what is it that? And so here's my, was my surprise was that as we got started talking about what their goals were and what their vision was, it wasn't that they wanted more business.
Interesting.
Not that they wouldn't take more business. I mean, who wouldn't want more business, but that's not why they needed my help.
Okay.
They needed my help because actually the doctor that was running the practice was frustrated being the doctor running the practice. He was frustrated being a business owner. He wanted to get back to being a doctor.
Oh, okay.
It was actually the practice operations.
Okay.
And the people and the communication and the teamwork and the process and all of that was really annoying them and annoying him. And please, can you help me? Yeah. And it was, there were a lot of people in roles that they weren't really qualified for. It wasn't the right fit of skills to roles. It wasn't, there wasn't great communication going on within there was all sorts of things that were completely unrelated to like bringing in more patients and bringing in, more money. And so that business owner, so what that taught me is that each business owner is different in terms of what they value and what is important to them. And for this particular business owner, it was to be able to focus on doing what he loves, which is seeing patients, and know that there's an operation that is running smoothly behind the scenes. So getting that up to snuff. And so I love the project, and it's a constant reminder of not going into conversations with preconceived notions of what people need, but to ask good questions and to listen.
There you go. Lesson learned. So
Absolutely.
I know you worked with various within various industries, and I'm sure you've learned a lot from each industries. Would you say you are a student in your operations, in your daily coaching? Because as a coach, you also learning from your clientele, right? How has that affected your coaching? Has this made you a better coach from beginning till now, or have you been stagnant? I'm just curious.
Yeah, no. So when I said before that I think getting a coach that brings a fresh perspective is a really good thing. And that's actually what I've done. So I like to work with businesses and business owners that I know nothing about, because for me, that's the fun. The fun is to learn industries and businesses that I actually know nothing about, and because then I get to grow, and I get to learn something. And so what's in it for me is that I get to learn something. What's in it for them is that they get a fresh perspective. So so together we work together, and so I love talking to a business owner or a business professional in an industry that I know nothing about, because I can ask really simple questions. You'd be amazed, like the very simple questions that I can ask that really gets people thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have a client, or had a client, who is has a moving company, and he's surrounded by. He actually is in contact with a lot of other moving companies. He knows the industry. So, one could say, well, he should hire a coach that knows the moving industry, but he's already surrounded with those people. He has access. If you keep on doing what everybody else does, you're not going to have your performance isn't going to be any different than anybody else. So what are you going to do that's different? And that's why you want to have a coach that brings a fresh perspective, that brings something different, that asks seemingly simple questions to have you rethink your strategy. And that's why you want to have me, or you want to have a coach that does things a little bit differently.
There you go. That's a great way to wrap up this, this segment right there. That's amazing. So, Sharon, if someone were to inquire about your services or just want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Oh, well, that's easy. You can go to my website, sharonrichter.focalpointcoaching.com. And once you're on the website, there's my phone number, or you can also click on a link to book time directly onto my calendar. I'm always happy to get on the phone and have a complimentary conversation with anyone that's interested in talking about their business and their challenges and my coaching services. You can also send me an email at srichter, Richter, at focalpointcoaching.com.
That's awesome right there. Thank you. So, Sharon, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And I would like to thank all our listeners and viewers for tuning in today. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to share it, okay? And also, last but not least, Sharon, how may I serve you?
How may you serve me? Oh, boy. What I would love is introductions to small and medium-sized business owners that just aren't happy with the level of their performance. For a conversation. That's it.
That's fair.
Just a conversation. Just love the conversations.
And that shall make it happen, because I'm connected to a lot of businesses. All right. So perfect. So thanks again for coming. And I'm your host, Thomas Johnson. Tune in for next week's episode. Take care.